Please be seated. Welcome to the 2025 commencement ceremony. I'm Anupam Agrawal, Senior Vice President for Medicine and Dean for the UAB Manik C. Hirsing School of Medicine. Today, we gather to honor a remarkable milestone, the graduation of this exceptional group of medical students. This moment marks a defining chapter in their journey towards becoming compassionate and skilled physicians. Nothing is more invigorating than standing before you today, knowing that each of you is about to embark on a journey that will shape the future of medicine. Celebrating this milestone with you fills me with immense pride and hope, as I know the world is gaining not just doctors, but extraordinary and compassionate healers. The students hooded today represent 169 new physicians for our esteemed profession. An exciting highlight that is pivotal for our state is that 36% of the class will be staying in Alabama next year for their residency training. Our graduates from UAB Hirsing graduate joint top residency programs across the nation. Students, we are truly proud of each and every one of you and wish you success and happiness in all your future endeavors. I'm delighted to recognize several special guests today. Our guest speaker, Dr. Holden Thorpe, who you will hear from shortly. Our senior associate and assistant deans, our department chairs, our career advisors, our clerkship directors, faculty preceptors, learning community mentors, several distinguished faculty members from the School of Medicine, as well as our alumni. I would also like to welcome Dr. Manik C. Hirsing, longtime supporter of the UAB Hirsing School of Medicine. Manik, thank you for joining us today. Also with us today is Mr. Gordon Lee, who is a member of the Hirsing School of Medicine Board of Visitors. Gordon, thank you for joining us. Also joining us on the podium is Dr. Janet Woodruff Borden, a Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs and the Provost at UAB. Janet, thank you for joining us. These individuals formed the path of honor for our students as they entered the arena today. I ask that you join me in recognizing the contributions these physicians and faculty have made to the teaching and training of our students. At this time, I'd like to ask James Stalwart, the president of the fourth year class, to come forward and address the class. James?
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my honor to address the incomparable class of 2025 for one last time. Before I go any further, I want to take a moment to thank all of the families, friends, faculty, mentors, deans, and staff, including those incredible hospital workers who showed us where the bathroom was when we got hopelessly lost as third years. You've all played a critical role in getting us here today, and we are forever grateful. Please give yourselves an applause. Now, when I procrastinated as usual and I sat down last week to write this speech, ChatGPT told me to stop giving it prompts and that I would have to do it on my own. So, instead of trying to dazzle you all with some grand opening story or a quote from a Greek philosopher, I wanted this to be a reflection. I want to ask you to take a deep breath with me and feel this moment. The culmination of 4 years of study, the bright lights in this arena, the smiling faces of our friends and families, the pride that sits with every person in regalia on this stage, the joy that we can feel in our bones. Feel this moment. When the work gets hard, and it will, when you feel uninspired, and you might, I hope you come back to that feeling. Channel it, carry it, use it. In a world that can feel divided and chaotic, we chose to spend our lives helping others. We chose healing, and we chose hope. Class of 2025, I want to say thank you. Serving as your president has been one of the greatest honors for me. Every day, I tried to think of ways to improve the student experience, but the truth is, you all improved mine. You made me laugh, you pushed me to work harder, you pushed me to become a better physician, and you made me proud. So proud to be a part of this class. Today, I get to go through my phone and change every one of your contacts. That's right, Ben Honan, MD, Atea Spears, MD, and I do so with the utmost pride. It's been a privilege, and to be honest, a heavy obligation to try to meet the standards of such high-achieving, thoughtful, and exceptional people. Y'all made me work for this, and collectively, we've all worked so hard to get to this day. You've donated your free time to volunteer at our student-led clinic. You've been there for patients on their worst days. You faced adversity by receiving your medical education during a global pandemic, and you've done it all enthusiastically. So let's take a second to stop focus on where we're going next, and let's be here in this moment. Today, you are a doctor. Let's not forget the things that got us here. The 3,000 lecture slides, the 25,000 Anki cards, the 4 editions of first aid, 2-step exams, so much esoterica, and an unprecedented need to orient ourselves, amongst other things. But who's counting? Whether you're Team Ben Cage or Team Josh Waldeck Anki decks, we all worked together, and we found a way to this day. And speaking of Ben, I still think those test day memes carried us way further than any caffeine ever did. Though Volker Hall is constantly under construction, let us never forget the memories we made there. This goes for all of us, not just the 5 of us students that attended in-person lectures. Whether it's the memory of Mel's study spot behind LRA, or Luke Anderson's fort on the 4th floor cubes, let us cherish it all fondly. And how can we forget the pestering emails, the unread emails from Mr. Rotten? Sorry, we really did appreciate you. We were just stressed. But in all seriousness, this school has tremendously supported us. From the top down, they've cared. They've listened, they provided a shoulder to cry on, they provided resources to help us succeed. They've helped shape us into the physicians that we are and that we are becoming. As we prepare to take the Hippocratic Oath, I hope we carry the best of our experiences with us. The dedication, the late nights, the teamwork, the compassion. Many of us come from different backgrounds, with different faiths, beliefs, and opinions, but we always remain respectful to one another. That mutual respect, the ability to listen and to empathize, is exactly what our patients will need from us. We've seen things most people can't imagine. We've seen life begin and life end. We've held hands, we've delivered bad news, and we've changed dressings. And as we head into a world with political division and medical mistrust, I ask you to be slow to judge, quick to forgive, and always, always empathetic. Advocate fiercely for your patients, learn from every member of the healthcare team, respect every voice in the room, and still take pride in being a doctor and the leader of the healthcare team. Own that responsibility with humility and strength. I'm confident that you will all go out and change lives, as I've seen the work that you've put in. I can confidently say the future of healthcare is bright. So bright, in fact, that I wanted to wear sunglasses to give this speech, but Jason Noah vetoed that idea. So here I am, squinting with pride. And lastly, when the pager won't stop going off, when the notes are endless, and when the doubt creeps in, I hope you all remember a quote that I saw on Twitter. Remember, this is the thing I prayed for, end quote. To my cousin with sickle cell, thank you for inspiring me every day to search for knowledge, for answers, and for hope. To my family, thank you for the continued support and love. To the faculty, thank you for pouring so much into us. This degree is for all of you. To my classmates, thank you for letting me serve as your president. And as I end every email, you can call or text me at any time, 24/7. Congratulations, class of 2025.
Thank you, James, for those inspiring words. Now I'm truly excited to introduce our guest speaker for today's ceremony, Dr. Holden Thorpe. Dr. Thorpe is a distinguished chemist and academic leader. He has served as editor-in-chief for the Science family of journals since 2019. His career spans leadership roles as provost at Washington University and the chancellor at the University of North Carolina. He's a prolific researcher, entrepreneur, and co-author of books on higher education reform. You can read Dr. Thorpe's full bio in your program, and we are thrilled to have him speak to our graduates. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Holden Thorpe.
Thank you, Anupam. James Stallworth, everybody. Yeah. Congratulations, graduates. And in the next 30 or 45 minutes, I'll be able to say, congratulations, doctors. Come on, everybody. Eight years ago, you sat in a college lecture hall learning general chemistry from someone like me. You toughed out limiting reagents and polyprotic acids just so you could go to medical school and get to this moment. You did it. It was a long road, and you should be proud. When you got to UAB Medical School, you found a different world. You came to campus on the first day so excited, with optimism and idealism, and the first thing you did was wait for an elevator for a long time. You got very good at it. And as the days wore on, you learned to search, not for the meaning of disease or the soul of Osler or Hippocrates, but for a parking place. Some days you broke down and paid for the princess lot. But soon you figured out you didn't need a parking place because you could watch your lectures at home in your sweats on 1.5 speed. Or make that 2. And you didn't have to worry that you wouldn't get your questions answered because Cole Garrison and Ben Rogers were always there to ask them for you. Pretty soon you started learning about medicine. Sure, there were some scary moments, like worrying about Dr. Fuller's GI exam. It was a great way to learn about inflammatory bowel disease and contract it at the same time. And thankfully, whenever you had a big exam, you could count on Kenneth Hurd from IT to tell you to get her done. And soon it started making sense. The science of medicine and the practice of medicine came together. You saw how it played out with your patients from all over Alabama. You learned important things that your peers in the Northeast didn't learn. You saw what Dr. Harada taught you about the social determinants of health and how they played out in real life. Dr. Harada, everybody. Give her a hand. You became physicians. Thank you for doing that. We really, really need you. All right, graduation speeches have 3 ideas in 12 minutes, so here we go. I don't think I can stand in front of this many students and not mention the fact that we're in a mental health crisis among young people. As many as 50% of college and graduate school age students have sought mental health services. And that's a lot of people here today who are hurting. I can understand it with the stress of medical school and the political environment. Lots of pundits want to tell you why this is happening, but actually only you know. For sure, part of it is an outdated and biased idea of what it means to be normal that most of us can't conform to. Now, since you completed your psych rotations, you may notice that my hand movements and my lack of modulation in my vocal tone are a little unusual. And you may be counting how many times I rock back and forth like this while I'm giving my talk. Well, that's because I'm autistic. And lots of famous and successful people have had this diagnosis. But far more autistic people, and those who had autism but were never diagnosed and therefore did not get the supports that they needed, were much less fortunate, sometimes requiring constant care and exhibiting much higher rates of anxiety and depression than the general population. And that's partly because in some sectors of society, our awkward traits come with significant stigma. Fortunately, as James just said, you had strong support for mental health from UAB. You may not have that as residents, but with the support you've had so far, with what you've learned about mental illness in medical school, and with what you know about compassion in medicine, you're prepared for the stresses of the next steps. You just have to apply that compassion to yourself. Now, one reason I'm telling you this is so that you know if you have mental health struggles of your own, you can still be the speaker at the UAB Medicine Commencement. In fact, all of us up here in our robes with our fancy degrees may look completely together, but every one of us has had challenges just like you may be having. So as my colleague at GW, Richard Grinker, says, remember that if you look closely enough, nobody's normal. Now there's an elephant in this big room, actually a donkey and an elephant, because we just had a very divisive election and a dizzying start to the administration. And the numbers of votes for the two candidates were so close that for every person who's disappointed and scared about the future, there's someone else who's happy and excited. And you are being handed a very big challenge with all of this. And my advice is not to listen to any pundit who tries to tell you why someone voted. But we do know that part of the story is a big loss of trust in institutions. Medical science lost a lot of trust during the pandemic because many of us thought that scientific principles should take precedence over everything else. And we were too strident about expressing that, and too reluctant to admit when we made a mistake or had to change our views on the basis of new data. It's no wonder that 47% of Americans think scientists feel superior to others. Ouch. That's on us to fix. And because all of you will leave here to work for one of these institutions, remember that none of them is perfect. Be part of helping them reform and engage their critics. These institutions have made immeasurable contributions to success for all, but they also owe everyone an explanation when they fall short, an acknowledgement of their shortcomings, and a plan to do better. Take the UAB Medical School. Sure, you learned a lot of great stuff, but how can they teach you the latest on the uses of AI in medicine while Exemplify continues to crash your iPad during every exam? Some may say that's highly ironic, but you're more likely to say it's esoteric. And sometimes when you raise problems more important than Exemplify or the faulty elevators, they evaded giving you a straight answer and talked about vague things like how committed they were to your community. Well, bad news. This is how all institutions respond. Powerful people and organizations only do hard things when they have to. That's how we got in this mess. So at your new institution, insist that they be straight with folks when they mess up and give direct answers to questions from stakeholders and reporters. When they don't do these things, it's completely in bounds to press them to do better. And it's essential. So go love these institutions so much that you help them improve. We need them to be stronger than ever right now and hold everyone there to a higher standard, including yourself. Now, in a few weeks, you're going to show up for the first day of residency. You picked perhaps the most contentious time in the history of American medicine to do this. The bad news of attacks on medical research and public health seem to never stop. Funding is threatened, careers are uncertain, and skepticism is rampant. But you're prepared to deal with this because you trained here. You learned that every patient brings their entire selves to the clinic, that they are unique individuals shaped by their highly variable situations. They have access to lots of different sources of information, many of which are incorrect and highly manipulative. But their views of medicine are also shaped by larger patterns in history, sociology, economics, religion, and politics. And most of them cannot afford to park in the Princess parking lot. And some may be for Drake, and some may be for Kendrick. But you learned how to approach them with humility. You know that you have no idea what difficulties they may be dealing with. And remember that the American people are not the same as the American politicians. A full 77% of the American people oppose the administration's cuts to medical research, while only 21% are in favor. To honor their financial support of medical science, we owe all of them our best. And during this extraordinary time, a lot of people who object to the changes brought by the administration wonder about the best way to respond. Well, unless you're planning to run for office or become a constitutional lawyer, the answer to that is easy. Just do the work that's right in front of you. Compassionately and patiently sharing the best medical science with your patients is a radical act of courage and justice. You will get a lot of resistance from the Dr. Googles and the podcast crowd, and you won't convince everyone. But with trust in short supply, you're on the front lines of getting it back. And you won't get it back with politics. You won't get it back with tweets, op-eds, TikToks, or cable news. You'll get it back in the clinic, one patient at a time. That is a lot to put on your shoulders. We know. But you learn from the best. You learn from passionate professors who cared as much as Teresa Wilborn. You passed that gut-wrenching GI exam from Dr. Fuller. You got here at dark 30 for your hem-onc rotation because you knew you were needed. And 8 years ago, you learned chemistry problems that have nothing to do with medicine just so you could be here today. So you don't need to ask yourself what to do to help. Tune out the news, stop the doom scrolling, get up on July the 1st, and do the work. As Kenneth would say, get her done, UAB. Now, despite all these daunting challenges, today is a day for celebration, a recognition of your accomplishments and your preparation for what lies ahead. Will residency be even harder than medical school? Yes. But you're ready for that. You have the knowledge, the compassion, and the mission, AKA the brains, the heart, and the courage. And you are absolutely ready for defying gravity. And that's certainly something to celebrate. And hey, when things get really tough, you can still come back to Birmingham and have a naked pig pale ale at the back 40. Or go see whether the elevators are fixed yet. Spoiler alert, they won't be. So that's my talk. Nobody is normal. Institutions aren't perfect. Do the work. There is no doubt that you are right where you are supposed to be. If you're anxious, it makes sense. In my religious tradition, when the Thessalonians were afraid, Paul gave them a bunch of advice and then said, "Therefore, encourage each other and build each other up, just as in fact you are already doing." Wise folks in other traditions have said similar things for centuries, and you're doing just what they advise. Y'all got this. Thank you. Get her done. And remember, no matter what life throws at you, you will never have to memorize the Krebs cycle again. Congratulations to the class of 2025.
Thank you, Dr. Thorpe. At this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Craig Hosley, our Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education, to come forward to present our awards. Craig?
Good afternoon. This week, our individual campuses and departments presented various awards to our graduating students. You will find those awards listed in your program. At this time, I would like to ask all the students who were presented with awards this week to please stand. Thank you. The Dempsey Award is given in remembrance of the late Dr. Hugh Dempsey, Professor of Medicine. In 1972, Dr. Dempsey was appointed as the first director of the newly created Office of Student Affairs at the University of Alabama School of Medicine. This award is presented honoring the member of the graduating class with the highest cumulative academic performance during the entire 4 years of medical school. This year's recipient of the Dempsey Award is Ben Honan. Ben, please come forward. The Leonard Toe Humanism in Medicine Awards are presented by the Arnold P. Gold Foundation to a graduating student and faculty member who best demonstrate outstanding compassion in the delivery of care, respect for patients, their families, and healthcare colleagues, as well as demonstrated clinical excellence. Each year, the fourth-year class submits nominations for the student and faculty member they feel most embody the characteristics of humanism in medicine and who are most deserving of these awards. This year's student winner is Hallie Thanakal from the class of 2025. And this year's faculty winner is Dr. Jeremy Walker from the Department of Medicine, Division of Infectious Disease. Hallie and Jeremy, come forward, please. Dr. Rebecca Bird is the president of the Medical Alumni Association, and she will present the Alumni Association Award for Leadership and Community Service.
Thank you very much. As the president of the Medical Alumni Association, I want to share with you, the graduates, how much your success at the UAB Hearsink School of Medicine and beyond means to all of the medical alumni. From the early days of orientation to match day casino night, to the senior portraits, the path of honor, every breakfast, study break, study snack, and moment of support in between, your journey has been part of the Medical Alumni's mission. Your perseverance, growth, and accomplishments are a testament to the strength of this institution, and they reaffirm the mission that drives us as alumni to support and uplift the next generation of physicians. Congratulations, the class of 2025. I now have the honor of presenting an alumni award that I think is pretty important too, which is Leadership and Community Service, given each year to a student who has demonstrated leadership efforts in addressing educational, societal, and healthcare needs. This selected nominee will also receive a gift certificate from the medical alumni of $500. Our 25 recipient for this award, I'm told, doesn't know that she has won. Her name is Lauren Hewley. So, Lauren, please make your way to the stage. Lauren exemplifies the spirit of this award through her deep commitment to education, patient care, and community engagement. She is a compassionate advocate who builds strong relationships with patients and families, taking time to ensure they understand their diagnoses and their care plans. Inducted to the Alpha Omega Alpha for her excellent and patient-centered care, Lauren also stands out as a dedicated peer educator, tutoring through her undergraduate years and medical training years, developing educational curriculum, and serving as a clinical skills teacher assistant associate for the first and second year students. Her leadership extends beyond the classroom and clinic through the CURE program and primary care specialty track. Lauren gained firsthand experience addressing the social determinants of health in underserved urban and rural communities. A passionate advocate for preventive care, Lauren led community outreach initiatives, including the Exercise in Medicine program, and she actually spearheaded a research focus on barriers to exercise adherence. That sounds pretty tough, no doubt. As a leader in the family medicine interest group, she organized high-impact service projects, including gift drives for families in need, health screenings, and donation campaigns supporting survivors of domestic violence. Her ability to lead with empathy and purpose while addressing educational, societal, and healthcare needs makes her a deserving recipient of this award. It is a defining feature. Lauren's dedication to service is not episodic. It is a defining feature of her identity as a physician in training and a leader in her community. We're so glad to honor you with this hard work and award. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bird. We are now ready for the hooding ceremony to begin. Dr. Nick Van Wagner, our Associate Dean for Students, will now come to the podium to read the names of the graduating seniors. Dr. Craig Hosley, our Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education, and Dr. Kevin Leon, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Medical Education, will assist in awarding the doctoral hoods.
Okay, so we've now come to the part of the ceremony that you've all been anxiously awaiting. This is a celebratory moment, and we know many of you want to show your support and pride for these students, and we definitely want you to. We just ask that you keep those celebrations relatively short so that we can hear all students' names. The students will be hooded by their learning community. You can find a listing of the students by their learning communities in the program. I'll announce each learning community's names and their faculty mentor who will lead the students onto the stage. Will the first row of students please rise and approach the stage to receive your doctoral hoods? So Barfield Carter Learning Community, Desiree Morgan, MD, is the lead mentor. McKinley Williams Conley. Mel Ebeling. Adam Jesse Hosley. Wendy Jang. Aaron Lee Legrone. Alexander Lee. Hamad Malik Muhammad. Max Osherwitz. James Walker Phillips. Henry Hamilton Smith T. Atea Nikel Spears. Madison Taylor Moore. Hallie Hope Thanakal. Finley Learning Community, Pilar Acosta Lara, MD, lead mentor. Miller Wright, MD, Regional Campus Faculty Mentor. Cody Michael Anger. Yolanda Amazaga. Devin Ray Dobbins. Caitlin Estes Domney. Taylor Nicole Golden. Sheena Kahn. Maduri Subdura Maletti. Abigail Elizabeth Nelson. Anna Catherine Tankersley Patrick. Andrew Boyd Price. Jenna Lee Saylor. William Hunter Scott. Lily Grace Veazey. Next, we have the Hamilton Learning Community. Marissa Nadelson Love, MD, is the lead mentor. Amanda Stisher, MD, is the Regional Campus Faculty Mentor. Bradley Tyler Thigpen. Chloe Carroll. Alyssa Brianna Cole. Tyler David Criswell. Natalie Alexandra Doran. Denver Russell Fuller. Spencer Gibbs. Fiza Mahmood. Ashley Carolee Archer Peisty. Kimberly Laura Romanoff. Veronica Michelle Smith. Lauren Nicole Usry. Next, we have the Harrison Learning Community. Chandra Blakemore, MD, is the lead mentor. Chelsea Palmer, MD, is the Regional Campus Faculty Mentor. Peter G. Abdelmessi. Priyanka Nikki Ahuja. Caleb Bush. Laura Catherine Wright Cresswell. Casey Angel Freer Paris. Courtney Lauren Heyman Bevel. Hudson Honeywell. Madison Marie Jazorski. Hunter Hobson Johnson IV. Javier Kenichi Nishikawa. Abigail Zane Nishikawa. Savannah Sally Petrus. Eleanor Elizabeth Pitchford. Next, we have the Hill Learning Community. Danielle Powell, MD, lead mentor. Margaret Lee Baldwin. Isabella Alonzo Blair. Mackenzie Emma Foxall. Sarah Michelle Fuller. Charles Allen Gagnon Vargas. Hannah Margaret Goimer. Trinity Nicole Houston. William Christopher Iliano. Victoria Susan Jimenez. Samuel Johnson. Tyler Lind. Caleb Ryan McLaughlin. Landon Joseph McNellidge. Jared Luke Ridgway. Salomon Roman Soto. Hemant Srivastava. Anna Page Wilson. Next, we have the Hershowitz Learning Community. Stephanie Berger, MD, is lead mentor. Ansley Backus, MD, is the regional campus faculty mentor. Amiria Pearl Blakely. Jackson Lee Broadfoot. Carla Danielle Brown. Jeb Cowan. Anupa Devi Gamir. Grace Abigail Glidden. Thomas Stewart Gwynn. Cynthia Lauren Hughley. Shelby Lynn Cope. Andrew Wilson Mitchell. Ashton Victoria Robinson. Benjamin Rush Rogers. Bethany Mae Sparks. Austin David Wall III. Next, we have the Kirkland Learning Community. Jess Fassenden is lead mentor. Benjamin Balkan Cage. Anna Elizabeth Crawford. Cameron Anderson Hagerla. Samuel Benjamin Hayworth. Deborah Ann Jensen. John Michael Woods Kaler. Anna Inman Lively. Karen Yu Wang. Ganada Bhavik Patel. Tanya Sinha. Kelsey Elizabeth Staggs. James Stallworth, Jr. Sellers Swan. Jordan Harrison Sabari. Alan Ali Yazdi. Next is the Lions Learning Community. Sherelle Hicks, MD, is faculty mentor. Zachary Chase Ballinger. Diara Lachey Bender. Julie Jacqueline Cunningham. Divya Goel. Hannah Lee Green. Jacob William Greenway. Allison Tudong Nguyen. Brannon Joe Perry. James Franklin Roberson II. Isaac Delane Robinson. Christopher Scott Simmons, Jr. Benjamin Tran. Bijal Girish Kumar Vashi. Next, we have the McCallum Learning Community. Todd McCarty, MD, is faculty mentor. Meredith Lee Burns. Karen Joyce Carter. Riley Kane Taylor Duke. Elliot Drayspring Heron. Benjamin Michael Honan. Heather Catherine Fall McKelvey. Eric Andrew Mussel. Anish Pathak. Sarah Grace Truelove. Ian Timothy Sikoris. Joshua Daniel Waldeck. Ashley Brooke White. Next is the Operl Learning Community. Jeremy Walker, MD, is faculty mentor. Javaris Humphreys. Jimmy Logan Norris. Karthik Ayani Sadanand. Andrew Zach Sadekny. Dakota Williams. Next is the Pittman Learning Community. Star Steinhilber, MD, is the faculty mentor. William Paul Kretschmar. Elizabeth Marks Benson. Shayna Danielle Bolden. Ann Carol Braswell. Parker Tulare Cobbs. Matthew Everett Dean. Clayton Ferris. Gabriela Santos da Fonseca. Cole Davis Garrison. Aaron Jacob Hayter. Jessica Morgan Jenkins. Nicholas Tate McCarthy. Khaldea Khalil Osman. Reed Harrison Reeves. Yezin Ahmed Shihab. Lauren Nicole Sullivan. Sean Washington. Next, we have members of our medical scientist training program. Talene Yakubian, MD PhD, is the director. Stephanie Crick, MD PhD, is the assistant director. Gregory Payne, is MD PhD, is assistant director. And Chad Pettit, PhD, is the assistant director. Nicholas Ryan Boyle. Hunter Byron Dean. Ashley Burns Irwin. Christina Renata Carico. Alana Christine Jones. Colin Harrington Quinn. Andrew Ray Schroeder. Shreya N. Kashyap. Christina Ayana Walker. Lamario Joshua Williams. Next, we have our oral and maxillofacial surgery resident, C program graduates, Timothy Cale Kreger, Alexander Thomas Matthews, Colin Anker Ritchie, and Jamie Austin Rose. This concludes our hooding ceremony. One more round of applause for all of our graduates. At this time, we will move forward and recite the oath of Hippocrates. So graduates, I would ask you to please stand. You can find a copy of the oath in the program on page 5. If you're a physician in the audience or on the stage, I ask you to stand at this time. Graduates, please take a moment to look around you. The individuals standing are representative of the entire medical profession who welcome you to our ranks. As you take the oath for the first time, we will read it with you and renew our own commitment to the high calling of medicine. We will now read the oath together. Let's begin. I swear, by that which I hold most sacred, that according to my ability, I will keep this, my oath and covenant. With purity and holiness, I will pass my life and practice my art. As I labor in the places of healing, my first thoughts will be the life, happiness, and health of my patients. To this end, I will try to treat my fellow physicians in this art as I wish them to treat me. I will use my power to heal my patients to the best of my judgment. I will abstain from harming or wronging anyone by it. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. Into whatever houses I enter, I will go for the benefit of my patients. And whatsoever I shall see or hear in the course of my profession, as well as outside my profession in my interaction with others, if it be what should not be published abroad, I will not divulge, holding such things to be sacred. For the sake of the sick, I will pursue knowledge of this art throughout the days of my life. With eagerness, I will learn from my fellow physicians, and with humility, I will share my knowledge with them. In respect for those who have led me in the paths of medicine, I will lead those who follow me. Should I transgress these promises, may my soul know no peace. But while I keep this oath inviolate, may it be granted to me to enjoy life and the practice of the art, forever honored by all people. Graduates, please remain standing. All others, please be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Van Wagner. Graduates, you have learned from and trained with some of the most talented leaders in medical education and many specialties in this institution. You have spent countless hours studying, pre-rounding, and getting to know your patients. You have worked to master complicated techniques and procedures. You have passed multiple high-stakes exams. You have applied to and been accepted by some of the leading residency programs in the country. Now, you have one last thing to do. One final tradition to uphold. At this moment, I invite you to move your tassel from the right to the left, a symbolic gesture that signifies the conferral of the doctorate degree. This concludes our commencement ceremony. I ask that all audience members remain standing in place for the recession. Thank you.
Sometimes you feel you can take a break. Hot air balloon that we go to space. Yeah, but I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy all alone if you feel like a rain is on the roof. Because I'm happy all alone if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy all alone if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy all alone if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here comes that news talking this and that. Give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy all alone if you feel like a rain is on the roof. Because I'm happy all alone if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy all alone if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy all alone if you feel like that's what you want to do. When deep down, can't name you. When deep down, love is too